So I was telling my wife this. It's so great being married because like it's a titrating dish. No, it's a TLC for ideas. To see which ideas make it far because I married someone who I really like, who I talk to, and great conversation. So if you're gonna get married, go do that. It's a good idea. So basically, I was just telling my wife this, but she was talking about Savers. She was like, "They're selling me this bag at Savers for $70." And I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, this is like how. Like, she's like, I want to start my own Savers, and I was like, that's like what Ford did. Like Ford, once you have a vehicle for creating value, such as manufacturing. So Ford manufactured cars. Cars allow people to harness power by generating power by internal combustion of gasoline. So now you can generate more power to do work, like in physics terms, like work. It's like force times distance. Um, like you have power, which is work over time. You know what I mean? Like you have access to more, so you can do more. So now you can effectively be a more effective business owner because all people who have households are business owners. They have the business of their household, and whether they're good business owners or bad business owners depends. And there's laws preventing you from selling your own byproduct. So we don't think of ourselves as business owners, whereas people in the past all thought of themselves as business owners because they all had chickens and cows and berries and preserves, and they sold them at the market and they sold them to their friends because there weren't as many regulations on these things. And they know how to do it, and that was the culture at the time. But basically, Ford understood that if you wanted to become wealthier, you had to make people wealthier. Like, if I am a business owner in a small town, it's really obvious. It's like I can't become that much richer than the people in my town because they're the ones buying from me, and that's where I get all my money. So, again, it's like the same thing works on a larger scale. It's like even Egypt, it's like we're richer than the Egyptian pharaohs because even though they enslaved literally everyone, the people they enslaved weren't very rich. So it's like if you're the richest poor person, that's still like being the richest man in Africa is still not that great because you don't even have nice places to walk around outside where you're safe. So that's like another form of wealth, but we'll get into that and other things. This is really about a specific phenomenon that Ford observed. So Ford had this way of creating value where basically he would take metal that was worth X and he turned it into a car that was worth 8X via a process that took him 3X. And therefore, he would double his value and then he would give that back to his workers. And then his workers would go buy stuff in the economy. And then that made everyone in the economy richer. So then more people could afford cars, which made him richer. And he just kept doing this. And he's like, people end up owning like 2, 3, 4 cars. They take the engines out and they'd hook them up to like a machinery they'd build themselves so they didn't have to do stuff for themselves. Like they were like to like Ford was like, I don't even know what a car is. He's like, I sell people cars, they take them apart and do their own thing with them. He's like, I make these things, people use them, they become more efficient, they make more stuff. And he showed how this literally created the economy that everyone associates with the United States prosperity. So basically, what Ford then did is if there was a store like Savers overcharging for used goods, he would be like, okay, and this is, again, it's not necessarily a problem with Savers, it's more a problem for the creation of value and how these systems work. Like Savers only works in an economy where there are people who have unrestricted access to power, let's say. And now we have fiat currency, so fiat currency is a drain on this, and people don't have their health, and like there's like time tax is like a hidden thing. Like there's so many things going on that it becomes challenging to maintain these conditions. But again, this is about the specific phenomenon for, so okay, like why is that relevant? Why did I bring that up? Because Savers needs rich people. Like Savers needs wealthy people. And by wealthy, I mean like have surplus, like whatever you need more than that. Um, in order to work. Like if there's not wealth, if there's not excess people giving away excess clothes, and this is where you need excess people. Abortion's really bad. You're killing people. It's the biggest killer of people. We need a lot of people for the economy to work. So you need excess people. And the people are like, oh, well, there's still the population. Like you need like excess people. You need excess people with excess goods, and excess income. And then Savers works great. So Ford created those conditions. Then he noticed that stores would just raise their prices. So then he would just create a store that had the original price, because he's like, the only reason I'm paying my workers more is that they have more spending power and more buying power. Not spending, buying power. So I have to ensure that they have that buying power, however necessary. If I get to give them more money, I'll give them more money. If I have to start a store that doesn't overcharge them, I'll do that. So there's like a Ford flour company down the street from me. It's like he just like created his own businesses, like left and right. Ford Healthcare, Ford this, Ford that. Because he's like, the whole point of this in his mind was also successful competition. So how does this relate to world domination? So you see that a process that like what's the limit to growth? Like your limit to taking over the world is your limit to growth. And the limit to growth is the average person. You have to make the average person wealthier. This is where African societies fail. This is where Asian societies fail. African societies fail because if your mud hut's 2 feet taller than mine, I'm tearing it down. I can't tolerate I can't tolerate inequality. So they have no inequality in Africa. Everyone lives in dirt huts. Except for the family members that they sell into slavery, because living in dirt huts means that they have no written history because all the books rot because they get rained on. So because they have no written history, they don't understand that it's bad to sell your own family members into slavery, which is why they're still doing that in Africa. Like they still sell their own family members into slavery. Literally. Like the Dwandi tribe literally sells disobedient kids into slavery. It's effing nuts. Like look into this. I swear to God, this drives me crazy how people are like, that's racist. I'm like, you're uneducated and a bigot. Okay, so anyway, and you're bigoted against educated people, which is the worst kind of bigotry. So basically, Asian societies fail because they don't believe in like innovation at any cost. Like Ford accepted the social reordering of society according to transportation and access to power, because he realized that fundamentally the only thing that's ever improved human life is this acceptance of change. So Ford really takes this, like, I believe, like Today and Tomorrow, I believe, is the most Christian business book that's ever been written. He basically takes the Matthew principle of, to those who have everything, more will be given, and from those who have nothing, everything they have will be taken from them. And he elaborates that out to the point where he shows that the only thing that overcomes that is recognizing that you have the ability to create value via systematized processes that become more efficient with experience. So he's really like, it's like Kaizen, like the Japanese principle of continual improvement. Like he's really applying, it's like this merging of East and West that's only possible in a Christian America. It's like literally crazy. It's like Christ reconciling the East and the West through the manufacturing principles of Henry Ford. And basically what that does, it like, I mean, he gets to the heart of like human psychology too. Like he's like, why don't people do this? Like people don't do this because they're coping, because it's like the old thing of like, why don't you dig ditches with machinery? Well, because then we put men out of jobs. And it's like, well, why don't you dig them with spoons then? You'll create more jobs. It's like, but people are literally doing that. And there's these economic systems that keep people doing that. There's systems of power that keep people doing that. And that's what's really important, is that a lot of times people in power don't understand that this is the process that makes them wealthier too. And if they're insecure and incompetent, so this is why I'm going to speak this way, because I'm like, okay, well, if you're in power, you rely on other people like keeping you in power. So even if you don't care about competency, they do. Like something like at some point down the line, like there's competent people keeping people in power because they think those people are better than the alternative. So basically, this is where improvement is possible, because some like society itself must fundamentally believe in improvement transcending power dynamics, because otherwise nothing would have ever improved, and it has. So therefore Ford just kind of shows this, embodies this essence, and then turns this into power for the common man and changes the goddamn world. Like it's the most radical thing ever. It's like it's literally a revolution. Like he's like Ford, it's the most radical revolution ever. Like I literally have no idea why everyone doesn't just like worship Ford, like as like, oh, he were like a living god. It's great. He's dead now, but like, holy cow. He didn't just say, I want social change. he gave the common man access to the power of chemistry. Like he was like, I'm going to build a device that turns chemical understanding and the proper chemicals into power to do whatever you want with. Like before, it's like the common man's access to power was like through biochemistry, through like cows. It's like I feed the cow grass, and the cow like pulls the plow. I feed the horse grass, and the horse carries me into battle. Ford was like, you see fire? We're going to refine that, and I'm going to give you personally access to harnessing all of the power of fire. Like, it's like giving humans access to the fundamental powers of reality. I mean, this is why we need more people. We need less abortion. Because I swear to God, there's some baby that was aborted that would have like figured out how to get us to use nuclear power. Because like we need access to more power. Like that's what makes this possible is power. Ford did that. He just did that. And then the world changed because how could it not? So then you create a way of making continual access to that cheaper and cheaper. And then you see how like the price of everything comes down. And now everyone's doing more. So more innovation happens at a faster rate. But this is Ford's thing. He's like, okay, you'd think that that would create more competition. But this is his major insight. He's like, actually, I built my companies to find and keep all the smartest, most hardworking, ambitious people in the United States indefinitely. That was the purpose of like that was his ultimate goal. Is he's like, this is like it's like warfare. It's like I'm going to get all the best generals and keep them forever, so no one can ever win because all the best generals are then going to be tasked with finding all the other best generals in the next generation. So it's like I just have all the smartest innovators, and that's what he did. He just literally he gave them the best place to innovate. So he would just recruit kids who were like 16, 17, 14, and he would like by the time if someone was intelligent and motivated, like literally me, it's like I'm upset because I'm like, I literally would have ended up rising so high in his organization. But it's like, why am I coming now to disrupt the social order? I'm coming now to disrupt the social and economic order because no one's doing that. So Ford realized that in order, like, he's like, the only reason people get outcompeted is because they fire their best employees, because they don't treat them well, because they don't articulate a Christian way of treating employees. That's really what it is. It's actual Christianity. And then because they don't have that, they then their employees leave and they go start the competing companies. It's like, how many companies were outcompeted by former employees that were disgruntled and left? So many. You gotta it's like those are the people that are gonna make or break your mission, because you have to maintain dominance to have the funds to continue innovating. If you're an innovator, because there's so many low brain metabolism people out there that will. He just shows this. He shows this so well. So basically, once you create a process that gives people access to more power, you make improvement inevitable. The same way that a lower energy state in physics is inevitable. It's like, if I put a hammer into an African society, they're going to use it like a hammer because a hammer has certain emergent principles and properties that come out in interaction with the human hand. I mean, emergent properties aren't just innate to an object, they're innate to the object and its environment. Because the object isn't just itself. It's like something isn't just itself, it's also itself and its opposite. I am using language to isolate something from its environment. So when I'm describing something, I have to take into account the fact that I already altered the way I'm perceiving it with language. So when I think of a hammer does not exist independently from a human. And if you give a human a hammer, he's going to use it like a hammer because that's the way it's best used, because that's how it was designed. The object has intentions. There's meaning impregnated in the world waiting to come forth. And basically what Ford does is allow the meaning-seeking humans of America. So you have a bunch of people that want improvement enough that they come over to another continent. He says to those people, here's access to power, and it changes the world. That's how the world works. Like, that's what happens. So and you need the fertile ground of America. Like this would never have taken the car would never have taken off in a collectivist society because it's a individual vehicle you sit in as an individual and direct as an individual to the location of your choice, isolating yourself from the rest of the world. So the only reason that the Orient has adopted the car is because the West, specifically America, invented it. Because I don't even think you would get the popularity of the car in Europe. Because again, Europe would see it as an aristocrat's play toy, whereas the American would see it as access to power for the common man because of the ethics that overlay both those geographies, which were intensified by the self-selecting process of the discovery of the New World and all the most disgruntled people coming from Europe to the United States. So you take all those people, give them access to power. They make power sexy and cool. They then change the world, give everyone else access to the car. So now that's changing the world. That's placing selection pressure on the rest of the world that's doing its thing. And whoop-de-doo, now we have me. But basically, though, like, Ford would have eventually ended up taking over the world if he'd simply had, I guess, let's say, Jewish family ethics. It's so funny, Jewish family ethics, and hadn't succumbed to low brain metabolism in his old age and ended up sabotaging his son Edsel inadvertently because he would have basically taken the Ford company to even higher heights because I do think that Edsel had the vision to do that. But I'm making a video, so just letting you know. I do think Edsel had the vision to do that. But basically what Ford did, so Ford, and that's kind of where I come in, is like, I'm like, okay, well, we can just take the Jewish family practices because they're good ideas. I can create a system. I have to create a system for increasing brain metabolism because otherwise I just die from insomnia. So, and Ford literally estimated that the next big push, of similar magnitude to his own push would be, okay, the next big push that would be similar in magnitude to his own push would come from, just tell him I'm making a video and let me finish the video. Just close the door because like I can wrap this up. Can you just close the door and like go greet them? Okay. So the next big push would come from people figuring out which foods to eat to be maximally healthy because his whole thing was avoiding human waste. He was like, okay, the first thing, because the Matthew principle, to those who have everything more will be given, and from those who have nothing, even the little they have will be taken from them. So he's like, okay, so we look at that principle and we say, okay, well, what do we have? So we have all these people, and he's like, well, why aren't we more productive if we have all these people? And he's like, well, we're not more productive with all of these people because people are sick, people are crippled, people are desperate, they're anxious. He's like, I have to pay men enough so they're not anxious in order for them to perform at their highest level. He's like, I have to make jobs that could be done by cripples, otherwise I'm deprived of the work of these cripples. So that was really Ford's big innovation with the factory line and everything. That's why I don't like what's going on with ICE, because like Ford's big thing was also like not ever having injuries or deaths. Like he was like, one death is too many because that's human waste. And it's very expensive in terms of time, energy, effort, caring, love, and everything to create people. So we can't waste people, like wasted human potential. So this is also where he didn't believe that he believed salvage work for salvage people. So he focused on manufacturing and he was like, I'm just only going to focus on manufacturing and reducing waste. Anything I cannot reduce, I will not try to salvage myself. I will allow others to salvage. And he said salvage work for salvage people, which I agree with. I think that like you see like meth addicts stripping copper from homes and stuff. And it's like salvage people are good at salvaging things. So again, there's a place for everyone in a well-run economy. So Ford's basic thing was he wanted to enable anyone who could work to the maximum of their ability and to reap the maximum reward from that so that they would be maximally satisfied and not take their talents elsewhere. And he also guaranteed them a job so that if they made any improvements, they wouldn't be worried that the improvement would cost them their job. He's like, in order to have automation, you need to guarantee people jobs because otherwise they won't automate themselves away. So basically, and that's where I think the job of the human race, like what are the jobs of the future? The job of the future for people is having and educating children in this way because this is the way that creates a good world that's worth living in. So that's the real job, is to have and educate children in this way. So one of the things I'm doing is I am talking on YouTube because that's where all the young educated men who are dissatisfied with what they're being told in the world today are, is they're on YouTube. So when I go on YouTube, like basically over 20 years, I'm going to disproportionately speak to the next generation of young men so that the highest in trade openness, highest IQ, most innovating young men will all know about me. And then I'll basically be able to enable them to, I'll be like, hey, like, you know, that cute girl you're dating that you totally want to like marry and like everything. It's like, well, you could do that, and provide for her and like have a family and like not even be anxious, um, simply by coming to work for me. I'll provide you with the ability to do all that, pay $400,000 a year. Like I'll literally enable you access to like the upper class and whatever you want by you working to the utmost of your ability, because I've created the ability to create access to power. It's like he created so much power and access to power that he could do that. So then he was like, the real thing that I need to do is maintain my ability to do that through people and skills embodied and learned by people, which is why it was so important for him to like take care of his employees, because he was like, they're literally the ones that are doing all of this. So he created this sort of American standard that we long for today, that we're like, oh, employers this, employer that. Like that was how it was before Ford too. He changed it. It only took one dude, and then it changed the economic incentives for everyone. And then we had 50 years of American dominance. I don't think we would have won World War II if not for Ford. In fact, I know we wouldn't have won World War II if not for Ford. I mean, maybe like, you know, no one gets to know what would have happened, but like, it's crazy. So basically, you create this mechanism by which you give human beings access, you allow human beings to use the intellect to give themselves access to power. It's like now you can use gasoline for power instead of having a cow digest grass. This is actually more efficient and faster with fewer constraints. So now you can do more, which means now you can afford more of these engines, which means now you're like planning 4 generations down the line instead of thinking about your next meal. And then his ability to enable people to do that meant that the people who were doing that were outcompeting everyone else. So it's like, it doesn't even matter if you disagree with that idea. You're going to lose to someone who has access to that. And therefore Ford just dominated and created this system for perpetual domination, that ever escalating domination that won us World War II. Like, it's just crazy. And it's like, he wasn't even focused on dominating. He was just focused on the innovation part, because he was really frustrated with the drudgery of farm life. And he was just like frustrated with like how people could be more but weren't. And really like what America was founded for, like why people came here, why people made the United States, why they made colonies here and everything. So basically, that's, and like, again, business is abstract warfare. Like Ford won us World War II. Like, again, you don't need warfare if you can dominate the space of production of the future. So the reason that Saver's increasing their prices is why I'm going to take over the world, is because, again, it's an indication that the economy isn't functioning in this optimal way. So all I need to do isn't really take over the world. All I need to do is create a way of getting the economy to function this way. One way I do that is videos, educating people, and like, I'm creating a way for people to be more through these videos, and that's kind of infinitely scalable in its own way. And it's like, I try to use leverage in this way, where it's like, why don't I edit my videos? I don't edit my videos because it would take time away from making more videos. It's like someone else will edit my videos in the future. It's like at the point where I have 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to hit 10 million subscribers, because there's simply going to be so many people and so many videos and so many ideas I've connected across the entire culture, because I'm making that my number one priority, that other people will be able to make entire media careers out of editing my videos and making YouTube channels that are like Devin Young clips, Devin Young edits, Devin Young documentaries and stuff. Like, I can just leave that to the next generation, because the power of allowing everyone to access these ideas through a searchable database they can access anywhere on earth from their phone is so powerful that merely focusing on that, while it takes longer, will yield more dominance. In the same way Ford could have come to market earlier, but he was like, I need a really, really good gas internal combustion engine, because if I don't have that, it's about the long game. There is only the long game. So basically, once I've already created that. I mean, I've literally already created that, which is what enables me to have the energy to make endless videos while raising a family. So it already exists. I just need to scale, and it is scaling though, because the videos are spreading the ideas. Then more and more people are going to do this, and then more and more people need my ideas because they're living according to the ideas I'm spreading, which are the best ideas, which is why they spread even faster, which is why they enable me to keep spreading them, which is why the people who adopt my ideas are going to spread them even more, which is why I need to invest no money into marketing or advertising, because the ideas themselves are carrying the business, because I've created the mechanism for described by necessity. I just needed to with the insomnia. I always told myself, I was like, if I can fix this, I'm going to change the world, because no one's figured out how to fix this, and sleep's the most important thing. So once I figure out how to do this, I can basically enable everyone to live longer, better, stronger, and because I was already better at biohacking by the age of 18 than anyone living, besides myself, because I lose the ability to sleep. So it's crazy that I can even be alive, and the fact that I can be healthy and high performing is just, I've got an IQ over 150, and all I've done for the last 15 years is spend pretty much every single waking moment, which has been pretty much all of them, thinking about how to optimize my health, stop suffering, and figure out how to sleep, while trying literally every single thing on the planet I could possibly think of, taking notes and reading every single scientific document I can get my hands on in the medical capital of the world. And I've been doing this continuously while doing every extrapolation of every one of those ideas for that same amount of time. It's unprecedented what I've figured out, just because no one has ever replicated this amount of attention paid at the problem of sleep. Not even close. It's just what it is. So it sucks. I didn't wish that it was me when this was happening, but I was like, this is so, it's like gang, you know what I mean? It's like, if you're watching, let's say the United States got invaded by China tomorrow, and they're like, we will exterminate every single American. I have no idea. I'm not saying they're going to do this. The incentives are completely wrong. They wouldn't do this. But let's say they did do that. And I was like, oh my God, if I can survive this, I can survive anything. You'd be like, wow, my descendants will retake the United States. And you'd be right to think so. So I was like, if I can survive this and regain my sleep and performance to the point where I can share these ideas and my brain actually works and my body works, and I'm going to kick a bunch of ass in jiu-jitsu. So you're going to really see my ideas at play. It's you know what I mean? I'm literally going to go out on the mat and fight people. It's you want to see how much I believe in what I'm talking about, how much I believe in Weak to Warrior. I'm going to fight people. I already have. It's already on my channel. You can watch. I test these ideas, and I have been for over a decade. And they work. This takes me from sickly to tournament champion again and again and again. So since I figured out how to go from dying from what they call fatal insomnia to winning jiu-jitsu tournaments consistently and wrestling tournaments and are speaking articulately and all these things, and I figured out how to teach others to do it, and I've replicated that, and I've created a perpetual system for profiting off of the fact that the system is already doing that. It is mere if you're literally watching this, you're what you are. It's already succeeded. The mere fact that you're watching this means that the success of the system is inevitable. So, and I have children, so they can continue this on. And I have a brother, so if I die, he can continue this going. And I have a wife who's got the same ideas, because that's why I married her, so she can keep this going. So it's it does need me at this point in time, but it's I don't know. I think that my daughter April could figure this out with what I've made on YouTube so far, potentially. So it's it's simply going to change the world. So how does this end up with me controlling the world? Because I do have to wrap this video up and get on with my day, and I could go on about this forever, and I want to make this one coherent idea. So basically, in order to control the world, you don't literally want to own everything, because owning everything is just a simpleton's idea of controlling the world. In order to control the world, all I have to do is put myself beyond the reach of any global powers. Like Putin controls the world, Xi Jinping controls the world, Trump controls the world to a degree, the Rothschilds do to a degree. The only thing that changes that is you have to also control the future. If you don't also control the future, you need to control the mechanism for controlling the future. This is why the Jews are so like, we're going to take over the world, because they're like, well, they kind of don't believe in innovation the way that they should as a race. And I want to talk to them more, because if you're a Jew and you believe in innovation, like, talk to me. I love talking to Jews. I think you guys are generally very, very intelligent, and I really enjoy talking to intelligent people, because it's lonely being smart. So, and I understand that. Like that's probably why you want to take over the world too, because you're like, oh, like these dumb people, like fuck them, like, I'm like, I feel that way too, like Ford did too, like there's unification for all these ideas, and at the end of the day, if we don't want to succumb to the lowest common denominator, we have to work together. So basically, though, they're like, well, we have a system. Like, the fact that the Jews have survived prosecution so long means that, like you're not going to exterminate the whole race. If you don't exterminate the entire race, which you're not going to do, it's not going to happen. Like, you just won't succeed. You won't. You're not going to be able to, and then they're going to come for you. And so they're the best keepers of the debt records, because like you can't get rid of them. So that's why they're the debt keepers, because that's just sort of how like physics works and lowest energy states work. So now the Jews are the debt keepers of the world, just for that mechanistic reason. And they're like, well, why wouldn't we end up owning everything? Because debt is this exponential function by which everyone becomes more and more indebted to everyone else because of usury. So, yes, but you can actually outstrip that by the power of human innovation. And then if you innovate fast enough, you can kind of spread the information necessary to get more people competing with the Jews for in-group nepotism, which creates honesty. So what we really just need is more people who are successfully able to compete with the Jews on a long enough timeline, in terms of their like nepotistic tendencies, like the halal, the kosher thing. Like, the halal is, I know that's like Muslim and that's different, but it's like, we need, like, I'm going to start my own thing at some point. Like, because it's like, why should you be buying food from someone else? Like, they don't care about your shit. They're going to put poison in that the second that you stop paying attention, because like, they don't like, so like, I see how this arises. This arises from natural mechanisms that are realizing themselves today. So basically, though, like, the Jews realize this, like, you don't have to control the world, you just have to control the debt. Like, the Rothschilds are like, I don't have to control a country, I just have to control their currency, and that's the control in the country. I would say I don't even have to control the currency, though that would be nice. I would say all I have to do is control people's understanding of the future, which is through medicine and the propagation of new healthy people, because without medicine and propagating new people, no one has any future. So by medicine and propagating new healthy people, and by controlling people's understanding of that, by showing people how to propagate families within the current economy, eventually making that, like, I'm not, like, the company isn't big enough to the, well, I mean, could be, if you're talented enough. Because I can always, that's the thing, is I've created a system that can enable talented people to create the value that they feed themselves off of. So faster than they could do so themselves, which is the real value. So it's like, if you're intelligent, you could build this system yourself, or you could use my system and I'll enable you to help me grow, and then I can help you grow. And then we actually help each other grow. And then 2 generations from now, like, our kids own like everything. And this is just this system of, because it's based on human innovation and not simply debt. And like, I mean, we got planes, you know what I mean? Like, power is infinite. Like, if we could harness the power of stars, who knows what we could do. So, okay. So I'm going to wrap this up then. Okay, I'll wrap it up. Okay, that's fine. I'm literally going to wrap this up and then go. Okay. So I have to go run an errand because the place is going to close. So basically, there's many ways I can do this, but really what I'm doing is I'm going to control the culture of New England. um, and various aspects of the culture of New England. But I don't even have to really do that because all I want is a return to a more articulated version of the culture that founded the United States, which started in New England, which is why the immigrants that are moving to New England are moving here in the first place. So it's not even like I have to change things. I'm just really reverting them back to a more conscious previous state through understanding, which is the wisdom they talk about in Solomon. But basically, if I can do that in a certain way that shows these educated New Englanders who live in the intellectual capital of the world, the truth about how to create value in this manner, then it will take on not only new meaning in New England, but in medicine itself, because New England is the medical capital of the world as well. So it's perfectly positioned, like jiu-jitsu position before submission. By doing this in New England, I create a structure. Okay, not even I don't even have to do this. Like all I have to do is even point out to people that this is possible, and other people who believe in opportunity are going to disproportionately move to New England and make this happen either way because New England's ideal for it, which is why the revolution started there, because they believe that geography of land is unique in its ability to evoke certain patterns from people, which create certain things given circumstances. Um, but I mean, literally, just control of certain economic and cultural incentives within New England would enable me to control the world's understanding of the innovations in health and medicine, which is the understanding of the future, which to me is controlling the world.